Hey dudes, SGD here with Hurley doing whatever he's doing back there while I'm trying to record. Hey, remember when I did game videos? Yeah, me neither. A little while ago I did a vlog on YouTubers who put links to their videos in like Game Jolt comments or Steam reviews and things like that. And I've talked to quite a number of people who have done that, still do that, and will continue to do that. And we're all part of this together, and they're all really good people, and I'm not begrudging them for doing that, because as harsh as I got during that, the thing is, I understand. I know why that is a thing. Because being a small YouTuber is more difficult in terms of trying to foster growth and build a channel than I think most people are really aware. Or it just doesn't come up a lot, because I think a lot of YouTubers, they never want to come across as though they're complaining, and this isn't a complaint. I'm not like being all like, oh, woe is me, boobly hoobly. But there is a lot to this that I certainly didn't know when I first started, and I think I wish was more out there, because people have been complaining about YouTube in a lot of ways, but there's more to it besides copyright strikes and things of that sort. See, the funny thing about YouTube, and I am not in any way going to make this as sort of like a how to grow kind of video, because I sure as hell do not know how to grow. What I know is how difficult it is to grow. And one thing you do find is that YouTube is built in a way that growth fosters growth. Big channels tend to grow at a much faster clip than smaller channels, because the bigger a channel gets, the more YouTube's algorithm will interpret it as a good channel that is worthy of promotion. Because the thing is, YouTube is not altruistic. It doesn't exist to support the community, not in the way we would like to think it. See, YouTube is there, and what they're trying to do is get good content to viewers as best as they can. And you get into the algorithm, and Google keeps their search engine stuff kind of close to the chest. But it doesn't take a whole lot of deduction to realize that a video that a search engine is trying, when a search engine is trying to give you search results for a video you might be interested in, a really good way of looking at it is things like how many likes it gets, how many views it gets, how many comments it gets, how much activity there is on the video, specifically how much positive activity there is on the video. So it makes sense that if you're to like search for FNAF World gameplay, or Polybridge gameplay, or, whatever, Itch.io gameplay, the stuff you're gonna find is largely from big-ass YouTubers. It just makes sense. But what happens then when you are the creator side of things, and you're one of the people that have 100 subscribers, and you're trying to also make this kind of content? And this is where things become very difficult as a YouTuber, because it's a sort of odd catch-22, in that bigger channels get promotion through search results, but if you want to get bigger, you need to show up higher in the search results. And you'll find guides and everything like that, and YT Talk and the Let's Play subreddit, YouTube subreddit. There are Chrome extensions like Social Blade and TubeBuddy and others. There are a lot of things that are out there to help with helping YouTubers sort of boost their presence. That we do SEO, we work on tagging and titling and everything like that, because here's the thing. We really would like to imagine that YouTube is this pure democracy where the videos that rise to the top, like everybody is in this pool and everybody is equally visible to one another. Everybody can see everything in equal measure, and then whoever makes the best content, they're the ones that slowly build. And I'm not saying that the top YouTubers aren't phenomenal YouTubers. But at the same time, it would be very insulting to a lot of the smaller guys to claim that the reason that they're small is just because they're bad. It's not for nothing that if you notice and follow the growth on a lot of channels, you'll notice that it's more exponential than linear. Small channels try to add 5 subscribers a month. If you can, I remember I was really hoping to hit 1,000 in my first year, and I didn't quite make it. Bigger YouTubers will add 10,000 plus subscribers per day. And probably the best example for this is if you go through Markiplier's sort of trace down his milestone videos, because you'll find that they started off, a decent space apart from each other. He'd do one for like 10,000 and then 20,000. And then they had to be every 100,000. And then eventually it was every million, because he was growing so quickly that, you know, it would if he was trying to do a milestone for every 10,000 subscribers, literally all he would do is milestone videos. You know, as you grow as a YouTube channel, the more you get promoted within YouTube in featured videos and suggestions on the front page. Even if people aren't subscribed to you, it'll suggest the channel to you. This is just the way of YouTube's attempts to give viewers the kind of content that it thinks you would like, because they can't have somebody whose entire job is just to watch literally every channel. You know, it's just not how it works. But then that becomes like, what do you do when you're smaller? And some people will resort to spamming and doing other things like that, just in the hopes that they can gain enough traction that they'll start to grow. Like, at the end of all my videos, I will say, like, hit me up on Twitter. I used to do the whole like, comment, and subscribe thing, and I've seen a lot of people that complain about that. They don't like seeing YouTubers that say, you know, if you like the content, then hit the subscribe button and things like that. I've seen tons of comments around the internet of people who say that the instant they see that, they will close that video out and never look at that channel again. I've seen people who don't like end slates. It was really famous, the Game Grumps, whenever they started to get so big and they added the end slate and the little bit of promotion at the end, people complained about that. They were mad because they liked the fact that the Game Grumps early on, their videos just sort of stopped. And that was wonderful that they could foster growth for a while like that, but we have to call a spade here and remember that when that channel first started, both of the people on it were fairly established internet personalities. Like, I don't like doing that. I really don't. That's not a part of my videos that I particularly enjoy. But it is one of those things that kind of needs to be done, because otherwise, you know, if I can convince one or two people to hit that thumbs up button, if I can just convince them to maybe click the subscribe button, these are things that will start to boost the channel's visibility over YouTube as a whole, you know? Because early on, there's really only 3 ways. For the most part, there's really 3 ways to get noticed on YouTube for people to see your videos. They're either already subscribed to you, you show up in the search results, or someone shares it with them. And I already mentioned that those first two, the search results and the subscribers, that is a little tricky because of YouTube's algorithm. So any little bit you can get makes a big difference. Like, I talk with a lot of YouTubers, I mentioned this before, and, well, not a ton, but I talk with some. You know, we tweet and text and stuff like that. And what we're looking for isn't to cajole people into seeing our videos. You know, we're not, you know, it doesn't feel good to just be like badgering at people like, watch my videos, watch my videos, watch my videos. What we're trying to do is just gain that visibility so enough people can check us out, and then if they like what we do, then hang around. That's really it. Like, honestly, you know, I don't mind when people don't watch all my videos. I don't, that's fine, because you don't owe me views. You are not obligated to view anything. What I do is provide videos that I hope are pretty good, and then if you would like to, if they interest you, come check them out. Like, a little under a year ago, PewDiePie had that shout-out contest, and the winners of it were featured in a video, and he was like, check out their channels, blah, 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 blah. On his message board, there were a lot of people I noticed that were saying things like, you know, it doesn't matter if you don't win, you don't need PewDiePie's approval. And I saw that was like a thread that a lot of people were saying, like, you don't need a PewDiePie approval to make good videos and things like that. And here's the reality. I don't give a fuck about PewDiePie's approval. I mean, I'd like to think that if he saw this, he would think I'm alright. I'd like to think if we met each other, we could hang out, have a couple of drinks, and, you know, shoot the shit and everything else like that. Just like I'd love to hang out with as many YouTubers as I can, and I have in the past, and that's a side note. What those people were missing is that what we were looking for there wasn't just the abstract PewDiePie's stamp of approval. Like, if the winners of the contest just got like a medal in the mail that said, PewDiePie likes my shit, yay, then who cares? But what we were looking for is the fact that someone with his reach, with his scope, could give a platform to YouTubers that otherwise would have absolutely no way of being seen by that many people. And then if those people liked what they saw, then they could subscribe, they could hang around, things like that. Because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that chance. We're looking for just that moment for people to take a look and see what they like and what they don't like. You know, my man Oranges and I talk about this a good bit. We hate promotion. You know, and like it comes up whenever I talk with Sharer a lot too. Like we're not fans of doing that. It's not fun. It feels slimy on some level to spend time that we'd prefer to be doing making videos and being entertaining, but we do it with trying to figure out like what tags to use and make a thumbnail that'll stand out and all this other stuff. The ideal is to just make a channel that will sustain on the quality of the videos, which is what happens when those big guys really hit a certain level. Because when you're at a point where YouTube gaming itself is promoting your content, where you're getting invited onto TV shows, where you're having celebrity guests on your show, where you're being featured at conventions and things like that, things like SEO tags aren't really that relevant. If you look in the tags on a lot of videos, they're the same as almost everybody else. You know, if you were to pull up 100 videos of I don't even know, just whatever game is popular, right? Let's say Resident Evil 7. If you were to pull up any video of Resident Evil 7, I can pretty much guarantee you what it's going to be like. It's going to say the title of the game, you know, in the title itself, probably going to say something like really scary, jump scare, horror, blah, 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 blah. The thumbnail's probably be a face of the YouTuber screaming and then one of the monsters. The description is going to say Resident Evil a couple of times in it, and the tags are going to be things like Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 7 gameplay, Resident Evil 7 playthrough, Resident Evil 7 demo, Resident Evil 7 walkthrough, Resident Evil 7 horror game. You know, it becomes very standard because, well, I mean, it's kind of the way it has to be. You can make the best videos on the internet. Literally just the videos that make you laugh and cry in equal measure. That after every single video, you're just in a puddle of various fluids. But if they had no thumbnail, if there was no description, and if they were just named a series of numbers, and you didn't promote them at all, how would anyone find them? How would anyone see them? They would just fall into obscurity. This is why you see so many people agonizing over what games to play, what games to pick, because as a small YouTuber, you may notice, if you are primarily a viewer, you'll notice that a lot of small YouTubers tend to leap on games as soon as they come out. Like, whenever Five Nights at Freddy's 4 came out, there were people, myself included, that had our first videos up within, you know, an hour or two of the game being launched. Whereas the bigger guys had a sort of, we'll get to it when we get to it. And the reason for that's pretty simple. If you look up those games on YouTube now, the videos that are going to be right on the front page, they're going to be the ones that waited. They're going to be the big guys. Because they didn't need that boost. When you're small, you are frantically trying to get on games kind of early in the hopes that when people are searching for it, it hasn't already been clogged with everybody that's making it. And it's why you get people trying to select games. There's a balance that comes up a lot where you're trying to find gaming content that at one side is being searched for by a good number of people, but at the same time hasn't been done by too many others. That way you have more of a chance to show up in the search results. That's a difficult balance, because you gotta think, any game that's sufficiently popular that a lot of people are looking for it, plenty of people have done it. Any game that not too many people have done, probably nobody is looking for it. And this is just a constant struggle. And the answer to that's always like, you get the people say, just play the games you like. Well, the fact of the matter is, specialized channels like that, they tend to have a very difficult time getting somewhere. I'm gonna pull up a channel that I haven't mentioned in a while because I love these guys. We haven't talked in a couple of moons, but I love this channel, and they're called Games Played Terribly. They're sort of a Game Grumps style, super best friends play thing with the guys on the couch and everything, and they do retro games, and they've been doing this for about as long as I have. And the sad reality of it is, the kind of games they play don't get searched for a lot. You know, there's not too many people in 2016 that are trying to find a video of a Secret of Mana or Donkey Kong Country playthrough. So even though their content is very, very, very good in my opinion, it's hard for them to get much attention because how are people going to find them? You know, and that's how you get smaller guys that sort of try to barnacle on the side of bigger guys. It's not because of any sort of cynical, like, I'm trying to ride your coattails, but it's more like, looking for that little opportunity, that little chance that you see there, that maybe they can help expose you a little bit to a wider audience. And I know it's got to be difficult for big YouTubers. I do not in any way envy them, because I know I'm not particularly big, but I get a lot of comments that end up in my spam filter. People saying like, hey, I like your content, you should sub to me, or hey, we should collab sometime, by someone who just started. Because you're looking for those avenues and things like that. And I do want to make special mention of a guy out there who's Matt Shea, because of all the YouTubers that I've sort of met, a lot of people will pay lip service to promoting smaller channels. Matt is one of the few that really does it. He has boosted a good dozen plus maybe small YouTube channels, including a dude that I've known since he just first started, Finpire, my brother from Down Under. One of my two brothers from Down Under. I have a lot of brothers from Down Under, and it's not because people want to use bigger YouTubers. It's not that cynical. It's just one of those cases of, a lot of people sitting around holding their little channels in their hands and being like, I think this is good. I think it deserves a shot at people with the watch and the C plus hit button, and there's that sort of attitude of, well, if it was good, then people would see it and they'd like it so much that they would share it and it would go viral, and the notion that if you haven't gone viral, it means you're not good enough is sort of like saying that because your uncle didn't get struck by lightning while he was playing golf, it means he doesn't conduct electricity. You have to think of just the sheer scope of YouTube. The most recent numbers I could find were late last year. They were saying that 500 hours of content gets uploaded every minute. Every minute. That means on a given day, around 720,000 hours of video gets uploaded. To suggest that out of all of that, the only ones that are any good are the tiny little sliver of handful of videos that happen to catch on and go viral, come on. It's the old analogy I've used time and time again, because it was made in 2007, and it's more true than ever, that trying to make it big doing videos on the internet is like throwing a message in a bottle into an ocean comprised entirely of messages in bottles. Because I see a lot of people saying things like, if you put half as much energy into making good videos as you do into all this other shit, you'd be big by now. And it's like, you know what? Fuck you. Like, everyone tries to make the best videos they can. I don't know of anybody that knocks out a terrible video without putting any effort into it and then spends hours and hours promoting it. I don't know anyone that does that, because we all know, that's not what we want to do. We want to make good content. So when you see people that are like spamming channels, when you see people that are doing sub for sub, when you see people that are, hitting people up in YouTube comments and saying, check me out as well, and GameJolt or wherever else, I may not approve of it, but it's not hard to see why it happens. And a lot of those people do end up making it, quite a few people who have done that, because other than that, it's just sort of hoping that, you just happen to be lucky enough that something you do does catch on. And for some people that does work, you just get that one video that catches on like wildfire, and then you grow from there. But that's exceedingly few. That is, statistically zero practically. And I know this is a super long one, but this weighs on me. This is stuff that it's a big reason that I get into these funks with YouTube, because I'm constantly trying to make the best videos I can. I throw away footage whenever it comes out poorly. I really try to make good videos. I like to think my videos are decent. But when you work that hard and you realize that it didn't get a lot of views, and when that happens, it's not like, oh, come on guys, please watch my video. It's more like, well, how was anyone gonna find it? How was I supposed to get out there? So you start looking for ways to hopefully push it at people without being annoying, or without shooting yourself in the foot by being overly spammy and things like that. It's just, it can be kind of cutthroat. It can be, I'm not gonna say that YouTubers are vicious against one another. The community's been incredible. Pretty much everybody I've met, You know, not everybody, but pretty much everybody I've met has been supporting and kind and generous, and, you know, I love hanging out with them whenever I can, and I'd like to hang out with more of you in the future, maybe? But, you know, it's tough. Simple as that. It's tough for the small YouTuber. And my intentions aren't just to try and hoodwink my own way forward. It's to hopefully explain why things are difficult and why it can be very discouraging when you're not one of the people that got that boost. Because, I mean, spade to spade, most of the big channels you see got some lucky break somewhere. There aren't too many people that just were grinding from day one and with absolutely no help from anybody else made it to where they are. And that's not a knock on anybody, that's just the nature of the beast. So, I don't know. That's about all I got. This is one of my longest vlogs, so I'm about done with it. And, yeah. Alright, enough serious shit. I'm gonna start, doing more recordings. I've got some ideas, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Like, comment, subscribe. SGD out.